How's it going, everyone? My name is Ondorichan, and welcome back to another live reaction. Um, I recently did a live reaction to Black Panther Forever, the teaser trailer, and I don't think my knowledge is sufficient enough to really go into deep depths of what was shown in the trailer. So today we're going to be looking at a more experienced person cover it. This is Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Easter eggs, hidden details, and character explained. I just don't know enough to really cover it. I will tell you the channel's name. Heavy spoilers. I love this dude. Um, knows his stuff. Uh, does the work needed to really cover things, and I trust his information abilities. So yeah, we're gonna watch this, see what I missed in my live reaction, and go from there. Uh, Three, two, one, and go.
Okay, so Black Panther Wakanda Forever has just had its first look release online, and throughout this video, we're going to be breaking it down, going over the Easter eggs in it, and also the new characters and what happens to them in the comics. This is probably my most anticipated upcoming Marvel movie, and unfortunately, due to the death of Chadwick Boseman, it's had a very difficult development period. During his battle with cancer, Chadwick kept it a secret from
Yeah,
almost everyone around him, and thus Marvel didn't even.
that is true. But I thought when they said it was a secret, I thought what they meant was he didn't tell his fans is what I thought. But it turns out he didn't tell anyone that wasn't really close to him.
Even though that he had the disease.
Yeah.
Going back and watching his performances, it's incredible that he
And
was even able to deliver to the level that he did.
And at the time when he was filming, he had the cancer the whole time, and that's just crazy. My man is different.
And it's a testament to how strong of a person he
Different,
was.
Bro.
He obviously left a big hole, and this film will very much center around the mantle being passed. Due to controversies around Letitia Wright, there's been a lot of different rumors over whether she's going to get it or not. And from this first look, it seems like there might even be multiple people vying for it. The movie is also going to be introducing Namor, Riri Williams, and it will center around the war.
I didn't even know Riri was in the film.
Between Wakanda and Atlantis. We're going to be breaking it all down, but if you could smash that thumbs up button and also subscribe for heavy spoilers forever. With that out of the way, a huge thank you for clicking this. Now let's get into the trailer.
No woman, no cry. And it's Bob Marley. I looked up the song. No it didn't sound like Bob Marley, so I should have known this was Bob.
Okay, so the trailer itself is extremely somber, and we open with a cover of Bob Marley's No Woman No Cry. Marley sadly passed away at the age of 36, and us being robbed of an icon is something that feels like it might be echoing the death of Chadwick Boseman. I hope I don't sound disrespectful there, but it's kind of the emotion and reason behind why I think this song was chosen. Really got me teary-eyed, and this is one of the most beautiful trailers that I think I've ever watched. Chadwick's imagery is laced throughout the teaser, and we also get what I believe might even be the funeral of T'Challa. How he dies, we don't really get to see, but there's this strong focus on him, with him even getting his own mural. They of course did something similar in Far From Home with Tony Stark, but here it feels infinitely more impactful due to the real-life knowledge that we have about the actor. The funeral at points comes across as a celebration, with several large groups dancing, but Shuri looks really sad, and due to some of the shots, it seems like she's going to be taking the mantle from T'Challa.
Okay, alright.
We get imagery of what appears to be the throne room flooded, and this is also ablaze, which reminds me a lot of Killmonger's ascension in the first movie. Now, there are rumors that she will make an artificial purple herb, and this will be how she becomes the character. Now, Shuri in the comics had wanted to become the Black Panther for quite a while. She actually even tried to challenge the mantle of it, only to discover her brother had succeeded in becoming the one, but this definitely remained one of her goals. Now, she became a fierce warrior and claimed her first kill by defeating Radioactive Man with the Ebony Blade. This led to her older brother seeing the potential in her, and slowly he started to train her. After the events of Dark Reign, due to an assassination attempt by Dr. Doom, T'Challa was left in a coma. In this time, Shuri became an acting ruler, and thus this entitled her to use the heart-shaped herb. However, the Panther Goddess did not imbue her with the powers due to a life of jealousy of her brother and also her
Wow.
attitudes towards the gods. She did, however, gain the powers eventually after proving herself when fighting against the supervillain Morlun. Now, Shuri actually died during the Time Runs Out storyline when defending Wakanda from the Cabal. Time Runs Out is sort of a prerequisite to Secret Wars, and with us heading in that
Yeah, we're
direction,
definitely
it
heading in
could
that
hint
direction.
towards where the character
Incursions
is
in
going.
Doctor
However,
Strange.
with the passing of Chadwick Boseman, I think they'll change things around and instead keep the focus on her rather than going that route. Now we can see Nakia standing on a
Nakia.
beach shore, and in
That
the
sounds right.
background you can make out either Aztec or Mayan temples. Beaches appear at several points throughout, and it of course hints at the surface meeting the ocean, much like what this movie will be about. The film is changing up Namor's origin slightly, and judging by this new
Oh,
look, I
that's
think it
Namor.
works really well. Whereas DC gave us a technologically advanced Atlantis, here it seems more traditional, and we get several shots of him throughout. This includes what I'm guessing is the character's birth, and we can see that he has fins on his feet. In the comics, they kind of went back and forth between this being fins and wings, but it's nice that they're at least sticking with that as it's a big part of his design. Now, it's a bit ironic that he's only getting introduced in the MCU, as he's actually one of the longest standing characters in the Marvel Universe. He debuted as a character way back in 1939, before Marvel
Wow.
had even been founded. This was in Motion Pictures Funny Weekly Volume 1 Issue 1, which, if you don't own, you're not a real fan. You're not a real fan! Now, there are actually some elements in his origin story that are meant to be happening in the film. The source material centered around a character called Ernest Shackleton, who had been sent out to get vibranium by Winston Churchill. This is where he came across Namor, aka the King of Atlantis, aka the First Mutant. Now, according to a report by Daniel RPK, Lake Bell's character will have been given a similar mission, and this is when she and her group will awaken Namor, who's lying beneath the ocean. Hints towards this, of course, also happen in Avengers Endgame, with Okoye bringing up an underwater earthquake that had many old theory time about how this was a hint to Namor. Now, in the comics, he joined the invaders during World War II after Nazi divers were discovered near Atlantis. Fighting alongside Captain America and the android Human Torch, they won the war, but in Atlantis he was exiled. Now, later on in the comics, he became a foe of the Fantastic Four, in part due to Atlantis being destroyed in nuclear tests. However, that didn't stop him simping for Sue Storm, who I hear in the A38 is now a single mother. Anyway, after a fight with the Avengers, he found people worshipping a dude in ice, and he threw this like it was some chump. As I'm sure you can guess though, this contains Steve Rogers, who had fought alongside him during the Second World War. Now, Namor is super powerful and also a mutant, which he actually found out after being told by Charles Xavier. Though he's gonna be a villain in this, he's very much an anti-hero in the comics that constantly swaps sides. He was even in the Illuminati at one point, or as they're known in the A38, the Suicide Squad. Now, Namor and Atlantis have had many face-offs against Wakanda, and during the events of Avengers vs. X-Men, he went to free a mutant prisoner trapped in the African city. He launched a massive attack and swamped them using a gigantic tidal wave. Tempers died down after the event, but this atrocity was not forgotten by T'Challa, and eventually war was declared on Atlantis. Now, Namor completely hated Wakanda, and at one point in the comics, he even lied to Thanos and said an Infinity Stone was there just so he would attack it. This was obviously used in Infinity War, but it's going to be interesting to see how other elements are brought across. Now, at one point in the trailer, we see him in a full headdress, the skull of which looks like it belongs to a giant sea serpent. Seems later on that Namor looks over a mural of this, so potentially it could be linked to how him or his lineage gained the crown. There's also two whales with Atlanteans adorned on top of them. Later on, we also see that the throne is the jaws of either a great white or possibly even a megalodon. Just depends on how short Namor is. He might be 2 foot or something. Now, we see the Atlanteans at several points, and unlike Namor, it seems like the majority of them have blue skin. This pulls directly from the comics, and most of the Atlanteans were blue, which is why he stood out so much. Looks like they also need masks when on the surface, whereas we see Namor doesn't. This is laced throughout the trailer, something that pulls from the comics, and they might explain it as him being a highborn, so he can breathe oxygen. In the comics, he had a mixed lineage, which explained these change-ups,
I didn't
and they're
think
clearly bringing it
Aztec
across
or
to this
Mayans.
movie.
I was thinking
Now,
like
there's a lot of shots of characters'
Hawaiians.
backs, and this gives us an almost
I don't know how
POV
like similar
perspective of
they
them
are in like
as we follow
culture.
the characters walking through the trailer. At one point, he and his forces arrive at what seems to be Wakanda, and they end up facing off against M'Baku. Now, the trailer is big and bombastic, and surely you can't be serious if you think several people won't be vying for the crown. Now, Shuri will likely take up the mantle, but I kinda hope that M'Baku does too.
I
He
didn't
was
think
definitely a
M'Baku would.
standout in the first film, and he of course fought heavily during Infinity War. I think with Chadwick's passing as well, it's difficult to find anyone who can take over it without someone somewhere complaining about it, like it's the She-Hulk CGI. So therefore, like, it is pretty bad to be fair, and therefore, they could make it a shared title. Unfortunately, Daniel Kaluuya won't be featuring in the movie due to scheduling conflicts, which
But
sucks,
nope.
as I'd have
Yeah.
loved to have seen him in the film, especially with how much
Yeah,
he's
that's how
done
they
since
fell
the
in Nope.
original release. Now on to some
I gotta
personal
go watch
news.
that.
The woke mob and cancel culture finally got my family, and my uncle has struggled to sell any ice creams since he launched his Infinity Cones shop. It's a damn disgrace, and if you love free speech, then what I'm gonna need you to do is show your support by also subscribing to our Clips channel, which is linked on the top comment. It's not a grift, I swear. It's all going to supporting Infinity Cones.
I know it's playing name over.
It also seems like we get them sending a tidal wave in,
Blood.
and we get some awesome action scenes on top of this. Obviously, people from the surface fighting people from the ocean is a big juxtaposition. Got that word in there. And it's going to be interesting to see how they balance it all out. So, also, sorry for ruining the emotional video with a crap joke. Now, laced throughout this is the feeling that the kingdom itself is down on its luck. Ramonda has stepped up as queen in the wake of the death of her husband and son, and clearly she's lost a lot, which leads to a very powerful scene.
Yeah.
I am queen.
Like I said, she's going to be acting in this film, but
And my entire family is gone.
she says her entire family. I wonder if that means Sherry's like gonna go missing for a little bit.
Visits the UN,
Maybe during
which
the
is of
flood.
course how the last movie ended. We see those around her are wearing masks, mirroring the Atlantean ones. I think these likely have symbolic meaning though, and they also put their mics down too, whilst her remains up. Maybe in their grief they've taken a vow of silence, but it's difficult to fully guess what's going on with just a 2-second shot. I'm guessing this had to do with the pandemic, as they filmed throughout that, and maybe they've incorporated it somehow into the story itself.
That's so smart.
Amongst the
if that is
trailer,
the case.
we also get what I'm guessing is the expedition to unearth either Atlantis or the Vibranium. There's also what appears to be a mercenary outfit attacking Wakandans. At one point it looks like a distress call might be put out, which judging by this Merc's face, he's very shocked by. Also, again, they're wearing masks, which is likely due to the pandemic, but it's nice to see that they've kind
with no Black Panther, maybe a lot of people are going to try their hand at like stealing some vibranium too. Now that he brings it up, that does sound like a lot of people. I know Doom definitely would, but I don't even know if Doom's in the film.
of incorporated
in the universe. But if that was the case where T'Challa or like no Black Panther, Doom would like be bro
into the costume
like
design and possibly the story. Or I'm reaching they were always going to have this. Now, on top of this, I'm going to throw another guess your way, but I think this might be used to show Shuri saving them. But hey, let me know your thoughts below. Seems later on that they get saved by the Dora Milaje, but I'd love to see Shuri introduced.
Dora Milaje. What did I say in the live reaction? Taj Mahal.
Used as the Black Panther here too. Now at this point, we also see Shuri meeting Riri Williams. Riri Williams, aka Ironheart, first appeared in Invincible Iron Man Volume 3, Issue 7. She was a super genius and gained an early admission to MIT. Now, though she had a bright childhood, she ended up experiencing a lot of tragedy when her best friend and stepfather was shot in a drive-by in Chicago. This kind of put her on a path to build her own suit of armor, and she cobbled one together using outdated Iron Man parts and stolen things from MIT. Obviously,
know a lot
MIT,
of people
they
don't
don't
like
want
her.
people just stealing stuff, and it led to security trying to confront her, only for her to escape in a Model 1 suit similar to Tony's Mark 1. The movie does seem to be changing this up quite
Ironheart.
a bit, as it appears like she's using parts of a car. We can also see that she has a diamond-like arc reactor that Tony used in Endgame, so potentially she ended up getting this from the compound or after he handed it over to Cap. Also, make sure everyone knows I spotted that. I mean, MT from New Rockstars, he spotted it first, but I was thinking about it at the same time. Now, Tony did take an interest to her and her armor building hobby, and he later recruited her to help fight against Captain
that's
Marvel
hard.
during
Oh my
Civil War
goodness.
2. Also, side note, MT did spot that on Twitter, and I told him I'd steal it, so it's all fair. It's as far as I'm concerned.
It's mine
Now, after
now.
Tony fell into a coma during the battle, she decided to continue his legacy and took the name Ironheart. As Ironheart, she joined the Champions along with other MCU heroes like Ms. Marvel and took part in the Underground to fight against the doppelganger Captain America in Secret Empire. She hammers out a heart, and this imagery
is
of
that who
hammering
that is?
something
I thought that was
is, of
Sherry.
course, riffing on Tony Stark doing it in the cave. We then get bloody Everett bloody
I'm
Ross
so dumb.
before
What?
ending on Blackheart. As Ironheart, she joined the Champions
Oh
along with
my
other MCU
God.
heroes and took part in the then get bloody effing on Tony Stark doing it in the
Come on.
cave. We then get this Ironheart, she joined
Yes.
against the doppelganger Captain America in Secret
Ironheart.
Empire. She hammers out a heart, and this
You guys
imagery
get it? Ironheart, you get it? I'm so stupid. How did I miss that?
of hammering something is, of course, riffing on Tony Stark doing it in the cave. We then get bloody Everett bloody Ross.
So, in my live reaction, I said that has to be vibranium. Again, I thought it was Sherry. That's probably not vibranium. I thought it looked kind of flimsy because it had those edges. I think the only way you can really like cut into vibranium is with vibranium. So
before ending on Black Panther unleashing their claws. Again, I'm guessing this is Shuri, but it might not be at the same time, so don't kill me if it's not.
Right.
Now, as for my thoughts on the trailer, I want to go through them before I talk about a big leak on the movie and what's being said about the character who turns up at the end. I'll make it obvious before we get into that though, so you don't find out it was Agatha all along. Wait, cut that!
Heck no.
Anyway, this was a real blast to watch, and at this point, I don't know, to me the movie kind of feels like it's an underdog, but also that it's going to be massive.
Black Panther
Obviously,
was
the
an
first one
underdog,
was a
too.
major success, but the sequel has had so many setbacks that I really want it to do well. And it looks great too. They've got this really strong emotional vibe going on with it.
100%.
I think it's not only going to honor Chadwick, but also build upon his legacy to cement it. Really, really blown away by this first look. Feels like one of the best trailers I've ever seen. And I don't know if I'm overly emotional or what, but yeah,
calm down.
hype levels
It
are
was
at
a
an
good
all-time
trailer,
high.
but the best
Now, as
you've
for the
ever
leaks
seen,
on the
calm
film,
down.
this comes courtesy of Daniel RPK, who talked about several of the major plot points in the movie. However, the one I want to go over is the ending and who's revealed to be behind everything. If you don't want to know that, because
Dr.
it's
Doom,
quite a big
Dr. Doom,
spoiler,
Dr. Doom.
then check out now. But
Dr.
if you do,
Doom.
then I want to tell you, you're in the right place. This is the Heavy Spoilers Show. Anyway, according to Daniel,
yes.
Lake Bell's character will be revealed to have been hired by none other than Dr. Doom. He will apparently...
Alright, if you guys didn't know something about me, Dr. Doom was my favorite, like, Marvel character, dude. Dude's
here
cool.
at the end of the movie in a comic book accurate costume before we cut to black. Now take this all with a grain of salt, and obviously what he wants with Atlantis we don't know yet, but with the Fantastic Four
I'd
also
imagine he's
coming
just using
soon,
them to
it seems
get
to
to the
make sense that this
vibranium,
is
but-
going to tie directly into Secret Wars. In the comics, after the multiverse cracked open,
Yep.
he became an emperor of the fractured
became
timelines,
the
and though they could also
god.
be doing that with Kang, I think Doom fits the comics more. Anyway, that's the main leak circulating around about the film. Take it with a pinch of salt. Sometimes the leaks are right, sometimes the leaks are wrong. I'm not promising you this
If
here,
there's Doom involved, I believe
but in the
him.
meantime, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the trailer and also the Hall H panel as well. It's about 2 AM in the morning in England as well, so any thumbs up, it's much appreciated. Now, as a thank you for doing that, you'll be entered into a competition where we're giving away Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness on the
I
15th
gotta
of
do a
August.
review of that movie.
All you have to do to be on the chance of winning is like the video, like I said, make sure you subscribe, and also drop a comment below with your thoughts on the
you
teaser.
guys want in
We
on
pick
this
the comments at
competition,
random on the
go to
15th,
page
and the winners of the last one are
follow the
on screen right now.
instructions.
So if that
I
is you,
recommend it.
message me on Twitter at Heavy Spoilers now. Now, if you want something else to watch, then make sure you check out our video on screen right now that goes over how to beat Homelander. He's a damn son of a bitch, but I'm gonna tell you how to do it. You better go over there right after this. I'll see you soon, you punk. You damn chump.
See you, chump.
All right, guys, that's been my live reaction. Heavy spoilers. Did a really good breakdown. Highly recommend this channel. Had to go to him for like all the information because I don't know anything about Black Panther's like lore or anything like that. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. Give him a follow and a like. He deserves it. Really good. And if you want in on that competition, like just go follow those instructions. But that's been my live reaction to the Easter eggs, hidden details, and character explained. Wakanda Forever. I'm sorry that my live reaction wasn't like super informative, but thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.